This is something China's been looking forward to. So what I mean by that is that they have not just been working on this technology in order to break our encryption now, but have been storing our encrypted data from in the past such that when they do have that breakthrough, they have a lot of data to be able to utilize it on, not just what's happening now.
I know this is absolutely happening because my friend Bobby owns the COTA, the racetrack in town. And when they had the Formula One race at at his racetrack, they found these boxes that were connected to this Wi-Fi system, and these boxes were outside. So the public Wi-Fi system had been compromised by these data-sucking boxes. And so they called in Homeland Security. They had them removed, the whole deal. But like someone had gotten to the racetrack and physically connected these boxes to a public Wi-Fi system. How many times is that going on where people don't notice it? This is not the first time they've done it. They picked a race in Austin. Yeah, we're going to get all those fucking race fans, suck up all their data. It doesn't even make any sense, right? This is something that's probably been implemented before. It's like, what are they doing with that data?
I think they typically refer to that as a man-in-the-middle attack. So you think you're connecting to the regular Wi-Fi, but you're actually connecting to the adversary's Wi-Fi, sending your data through there, and then they send that to the original box that you thought you were communicating with. And so they get all the information.
So all your passwords, anything you're sending, yeah.
Exactly.
PayPal, yeah.
That's how they try to crack the Tor network as well.
Really?
If you're familiar with that,
Yes.
Yeah, by setting up their own servers essentially to serve as a man-in-the-middle attack. But, back to your point about China trying to work on quantum computing, on AI, I think China is probably one of the biggest motivating factors that the government has right now for opening up the conversation on UAP, right? So we haven't had this peer threat that we have to worry about that has a totally different investment government structure than we have, right? So in the United States, we have this capitalist market and we have innovations that break out through that model like OpenAI. But there are some capabilities where they are not appetizing to the market itself, right? For example, how do we just suddenly stand up a chip fabrication facility in the United States that competes with the operations in Taiwan, right? It's not something that a VC is going to invest in. It's going to take billions and billions of dollars.
And it could fail.
Exactly.
Like the Samsung one that they put here.
Exactly. Well, they did that because the government took a new approach. They stepped in and said, we're going to financially support this. We're going to open up the piggy banks. We're going to help with regulations and laws, and we're going to make this happen as soon as practically possible. That's the model that China uses all the time, right? They see something, they go for it, they invest the money, they invest the resources. There's a risk with that. You could be wrong about the efficacy of the technology that you're trying to push forward. It could be strategically misaligned. But if China is having the same issues with the UAP that we are having, then you could imagine them putting a lot of resources into better understanding that situation in a way that we're just not equipped to do. And the fact that this conversation has grown more, that their advancements have been getting better, I think there is this pressure right now within the U.S. government that if we do not further invest, somehow bring in, the primary innovation makers within our economy, within the startup community, within the scientific community, into this problem, if it's still just buried in a classified area, then we're going to get outcompeted by China that is able to dump all these resources into it.
Well, how do you do that though? If these people that create these things are motivated by money, right? If they're motivated by profits, if they run major corporations, like how can you convince them to invest in something that is ultimately not going to pay off like it would if you were investing in a consumer product?
Yeah, I think it can. I mean, we have a model for that in the United States with deep technology and edge technology. These are capabilities that don't fit into a normal VC's life cycle of 5 or 6 years before you're seeing returns. It might take 10 years before you have a product, right? And there's a lot of risks that they could fail along the way. But that's where we get a lot of our major innovations from. That's where we see very exotic technology being worked on, like advanced propulsion, communication systems, energy production. And every one of these has huge potential added value to our economy. I mean, to the level that AI has, right? So, there's a couple ways you can go about it. You can either create a new investment cycle or structure that is more tolerant to the risk and more tolerant to extended time to returns, which, you got to fight market forces with that. You could have the government step in, perhaps through the Office of Strategic Capital and others, to be able to support venture capitalists that are looking to make investments in these longer-term technologies, perhaps in concert with the National Science Foundation that does a lot of work in this area. Or you can try to structure your technologies such that they provide value to existing capabilities during the research and development process. So what I mean by that, and I've been working this problem for 10 years, Joe.
Sounds like it.
I've thrown my entire self into this. I've approached it, with my nonprofit, Americans for Safe Aerospace. I've been working in the private sector. I've been collaborating with government and others. And there is a path where the capabilities to better understand this topic are aligned with our defensive needs, right? If we had total situational awareness of our airspace, that's a very valuable thing to the Department of Defense. And those are contracts you can win. Those are reasonable investments you can make through normal market forces. And then you keep working to be able to use those existing products in those markets to bring out technology that is related to the UAP topic, whether that be detection, perhaps propulsion, energy, things of that nature. So you have to find these core technologies that the government wants that is also aligned with the better understanding of UAP.
Now, the way you're describing this sounds like it could be done, but China's already done that. So, like, how far behind the curve are we on the implementation of this technology?
Well, it's an unknown how far China is. There are some rumors, and I'm not even going to mention them because they're too low confidence, but there does
Come on, I love a good low confidence rumor.
There does seem to be investment that's been made. There are talk that they are having the same problems and perhaps have been better motivated than we are to investigate ones that they have been able to recover.
Do you know about the anti-gravity lady that went missing, went back to China?
Ning Li.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on that type of technology?
It's interesting. I was mentioning this out front with some of the guys earlier. There seems to be these interesting technologies that were once ridiculed back in the day, whether it be anti-gravity, cold fusion, others.
It's a good way to get rid of stuff, ridicule it.
Yeah,
that's what they did with
I'm very
ivermectin.
familiar with that strategy.
Lab leak. They did it with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they all just went dark for like 30, 40 years. But some of those capabilities seem to be popping back up in mainstream scientific circles.
Have you ever heard Eric Weinstein discuss this?
Mm-hmm.
He has some very fucking, you got to get that tinfoil hat really tightly secured to your head. But he believes that this is one of the reasons why physics has sort of stalled over the last 20 years. He thinks some of the best minds have been moved into a project and that it very well might be something along these lines, like something along some like super advanced propulsion system.
Mark Anderson had the same conversation with the White House, right? Talking about classifying AI technology in math and that they've done it before.
What is this? Justin, Trump says he's staying away from his New Jersey golf club amid the drone sightings. The government doesn't know what's happening. Our military knows.
He says they know what's happening.
Oh, the government knows what's happening. Our military knows where they took off from. They know where it came from and where it went. Something strange is going on.
Play the video.
Yeah, sure. Let's hear it.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for